And here you have it. One of my clients was approved for a total of $230,000 in business capital. What if you needed to access $100,000 to $300,000 in business funding, but the banks just keep saying no? The reason why they keep saying no is because you keep making these business credit mistakes that you didn't even know about. This is what happens with most business owners. They think their credit score alone is going to get them approved, but lenders care about way more. And that's what I'm going to help you with, because in today's lesson, we're going to show you how to step by step fix your foundation and access $100,000 to $300,000 in funding using this strategy. So what I want you to do right now is go grab your pen and paper. No, seriously, go grab your pen and paper, because this is going to be a good one. And without further ado, let's dive in. All right, ladies and gents, so I always do step-by-steps in all of my videos, or pillars. So the first step that we're going to do, and we're just going to get right into it, is honestly the most important one: the deep credit analysis. Okay, I know it might sound boring. I know it might sound like, yo, we talking about business. Why are we talking about my personal credit, anything of that nature? That's the reason why you keep getting denied. That is the reason why, because you keep skipping this. None of that humongous type of capital is coming your way until you fix this. Because see, understand this, when you apply for business funding, lenders just don't look at your credit score. They pull your full credit report, and they're looking for any reason to deny you. All red flags. So things like late payments, collections, charge-offs, you name it. Because let me give you a real life example. One of my clients came in with actually better than decent credit scores. They had a 726 on Equifax, a 728 on Experian, and a 685 on TransUnion. Sounds really good, right? Most people would think, yeah, of course, they should be able to get even $10,000 in business funding. That looks super capital ready. Yeah, it does. But when I actually pulled their credit report, I found that they had late payments, a couple of collections also sitting there as well, just chilling on their credit report. And that's the reason why that person could not get $50,000, $75,000, or even $100,000 on the business side. And that right there is the reason why you have to break down your credit report to see what's important. I get on calls all the time from people saying, when I ask this question, hey, when's the last time you pulled your accurate credit report? Oh, 4 months ago. I never pulled it before. Maybe a few years ago. I'm not totally sure. And it's like, we have to do that first. So you're going to have to do that as well, because banks and lenders don't care about the score. They want to see what you've been doing. What are you responsible with on the personal side? Can we trust this person with large amounts? That's what they want to see. All right, ladies and gents, because if they feel if you can't do it on the personal side, then you're definitely not going to do it on the business side. So they're not going to take that risk. They're not taking risk anymore. So here's what you need to do. Number one, pull your credit report from all three bureaus. Okay. So what you can do is click the link below. You can go to MyFreeScoreNow.com. You can also go to Identity IQ or MyScore IQ. It doesn't matter. Whichever one just feels good to you, tickle your fancy, however you want to talk about it. Just click the link below. You can get your accurate scores. Not talking about anything on Credit Karma, your accurate scores side by side. It's super easy to adjust and actually do a credit analysis. That's the first thing I need you to do. The next thing that I need you to do is go through every single line for your accounts, okay? So if you see any late payments, collections, charge-offs, or anything that's negative, you need to find them, dispute them, and get them off of your credit report, okay? Or try to find somebody that you trust to clean up your credit report, because this is going to make sure that your score matches the actual report. So your headline matches, the surface, or however you want to talk about it, all right? Because once that part is done and everything is complete, then you're able to move into the next steps. And I just want to tell you this as well, ladies and gents. If you are going to go, or you have to go through any type of credit repair or anything like that, please understand it will take a process, all right? Stop making these made up timelines in your head. Oh, I have to do it at this time before January, or this time, or I got to do it because of this. Look, you got yourself into this situation, whether you knew it or not. It's not time to play the blame game or anything like that. You're trying to clean everything up now. It took you 10 plus years, 8 plus years, 7 plus years to mess up your credit report. Understand, it will take sometimes more than 90 days. Now, have I fixed people's credit reports in less than 90 days? A bunch. But there are a few that still take a good amount of time. The example that I'm giving you right now, this person, it took a minute. It took over 90 days, all right? So understand that you have to really dial in, either get somebody that you know, you can utilize me, or do it yourself. The choice is yours. Just understand that you need patience. Patience is what kills a lot of business owners nowadays. It's not the funding part, it's not the credit side. It's just being patient. That's it. But I just want to give you that, but enough about that. Let's go into the next step, which is step 2, the proper business setup. So now that your personal credit is all in shape, it looks good, you can now start preparing your business for real business capital, okay? And I'm talking about serious money, not just $10,000 here and there and things of that nature. If that's what you want, then this video is probably not for you. But if you're looking for a serious amount of capital, I'm talking $100, $200, or even $300,000 in funding, even more than that, then your business structure and everything has to be in tip-top shape, okay? So the first thing that we're going to talk about is your business entity setup. Is it set up correctly? Let's find out. Now, if you're in a high-risk industry, and we're talking about trucking, real estate investing, crypto, cannabis, adult entertainment, even food industries as far as like restaurants, then you have to be extremely careful, business owners, okay? What I mean by that is, if any one of those high risks that I just talked about, if that's in your business name, then you're already one step back, because those high risk industry names sometimes can trigger a red flag to these lenders and automatically deny you, even if you're not even in that category anymore. I've had people that, just never got a new LLC, but the name was, real estate investing LLC, but they're doing something as far as, sales, but they still get denied because of the name, high risk industry. So you are going to have to fix this. So again, you might have to change this by filing with the Secretary of State, okay? Now, it is going to take a few weeks, but again, just be patient. You need to change this. The next thing that we're going to talk about is changing your NAICS code. That is the code that tells the lenders what type of business that you're in and that you're running, okay? A lot of people don't even know their NAICS code. They don't even know what that is. So you got to understand what your NAICS code is and what category that you're in, because you want to make sure that it's not high risk, because you don't want anything to actively hold you back, okay? You may need to switch it into something that's more fundable friendly, but also still legal. Now, I'm not telling you, even if you are in any of these categories, to lie or change your whole business model, but you might have to change certain things to make it a little easier for you. So you might have to do, general business. I'm not a big fan of the next one, but consulting, anything of that nature. You don't just want to put real estate investing, or you want to just put trucking or anything like that. You want to, kind of blur between the lines a little bit. You want to kind of be in that gray line, okay? So you're really going to have to play around with certain things to really say, hey, I am doing this, but I'm not really in this high risk industry, so I can just get capital. Does that make sense? The next thing, if your business is less than 1 to 2 years old, then you're extremely new, and that means that you're extremely risky, even with great credit. And in that case, you might have to consider an age corporation. And that's something I do help with inside of my program for all of my people that do have a brand new LLC. They want to make sure that they access $100,000 to $200,000 in capital. What we can do is we can hop on a call, schedule a consultation to see where you want to go as far as your business to help you with an age corporation. Now, when it comes to an age corporation, it's just about having that low risk NAICS code that I help you with, a clean business, entity, and then making sure that, the business age is also there as well. This isn't just some random thing that I got off of, any type of website or anything like that. This is very structured and tailored to you, to each business owner. It actually has to be built. So just with all that being said, click the link below if you definitely want some type of help with that, so you can access the high amounts of funding so you don't look super risky, okay? But enough about that. Let's get back to the video. Now, with all that information, playing within the gray lines, understand this, business owner, it's not about gaming the system. I'm not telling you to lie or anything again. It's about showing the banks what you have and what you have as far as your business to make sure that it's together. You want to make sure that it's real. You want to make sure that it's established, because if your business looks legit and your personal credit is cleaned up at the same time, now we're talking about getting serious strategies to getting this serious capital to scaling your serious business. And that's what we're going to talk about in step 3, which is the strategy to access the business capital. With all that being said, here is how everything is just going to come together beautifully. This is how we're going to get the capital. The first thing that you're going to do is, again, you're going to need another strategy, just like we did in the beginning. Okay, you're not just going to go apply blindly. We need to make sure that every step is calculated so you can get the best optimal return, because that's the same thing I do for all of my clients, okay? Because you can't just apply to every single bank and just hope for the best, okay? That's how people get declined. That's how people get flagged for high risk, or they even get blackballed. So it takes a specific method, and banks want to see what's called comparable credit. Now, if you don't know what comparable credit means, that means that they want to see what you already have on the personal side and make sure that you can actually handle high amounts of funding. So, hey, do they have anything on the personal side with good credit lines? Hey, have they been handling them well? Do they have consumer debt? Anything like that? Because back in the day, and I even talked about it on like super older videos, you could have a $3,500 personal credit card and still get $75,000, $85,000 on the business side. But now it takes a little more due to all of these business owners that got funding and they end up getting late payments, charge-offs, collections, and the banks have to, they have to rep for that. So they don't want to deal with that anymore. So it takes way more. Lenders want to see how you handle big limits responsibly. So before they hand you bigger ones on a totally different side, they have to make sure that you can do everything optimally. So just for my client, for his sake, we cleaned up his credit report and then we moved to the personal funding first because we need to build the comparable credit first of all. That's of course the first one. And then we started with personal loans and different other types of funding. The reason why we didn't go after credit cards is because I didn't want to affect his utilization. So that will make it ideal when we go to the business side because that's important. Now it doesn't look like just $80,000 of just credit card debt or anything like that, because when my bank reps and connects, we make sure that we do everything strategically so it looks good on your credit report. So these were installment loans that kept the usage clean. And then I told him, this is not the spending spree, okay? You can use this funding with a specific strategy. If we need to go over a strategy, we can. But again, we want to make sure that everything stays low and you pay attention to your due dates to protect your credit report. Because I have a lot of business owners that use personal credit. They use personal credit like no other, and it's fine. But they have a strategy in place. That's the whole point. Everybody always looks at, even on the business side, it's a 20-something% interest rate. I don't know about that. Look, you gotta make sure that you have a strategy. I'm not telling you just to grab money out of thin air. You gotta make sure you have the knowledge and strategy, and then you can use personal and business funding all at the same time, and your credit never gets hit with anything crazy. Does that make sense? Nah, matter of fact, I'm gonna make it make sense. Have a strategy in place. That's what I'm telling you, okay? Have a strategy. So now that we have the strong comparable credit, we can move on into the business banking system. And that is where the stacking comes in, the business credit stacking. When it comes to the business stacking, the key is to apply to banks that use different credit bureaus. That way, the applications don't all hit just one bureau and you're triggering alerts with these lenders and banks. That's what people fail to realize. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a strategy on what my client did. The first place that we went was Truist Bank. Now, before I talk about Truist Bank, please make sure that it's in your area. It's not like Chase and Wells Fargo. It's not in every single area, okay? But if you do have Truist Bank, good job. Let's go ahead and keep going. With Truist Bank, they do pull from Equifax on your personal side. And with my client at the time when we cleaned up his credit report, it was a 770 on Equifax. So we were in an extremely great position. He did get approved when my bank connects with 2 business credit cards, one for $48,000 and then the other one was $42,000, okay? So now this is almost $50,000 each, and you can do the math on that. Now, in the next place that we went to was Chase Bank. Now, Chase normally pulls from Experian or TransUnion. Back when I did it, it was Experian and TransUnion. I don't think it's like that anymore because once we push everything to my bank reps, they normally just pull Experian. I know in certain areas they do pull TransUnion, but anyway. Now, my client did have a really good Experian score of a 738, so that was a really good position. So we applied for the Business Inc. Unlimited, okay? And we got approved for $65,000. And then we did the next business credit card, which is the Business Cash with a 0% APR for 12 months and got approved for $75,000. And when you total it all up, that's $80,000 on the personal side, plus $48,000, plus $42,000, plus $65,000, and another $75,000 approval. All looking at over $300,000 in total funding. Awesome for my client, super awesome, and it can be super awesome for you. But let me be clear when it comes to something. This does not happen overnight, as you can see. It happens with the right game plan and the right orders, okay? That's what it takes to get this type of funding from the real exact lenders, not that quick stuff that everybody else talks about. Because if you skip steps, if you try to rush it, you'll either get denied, you'll get stuck, and then you're gonna get stuck with very low limits. You're like, yo, it didn't work, things of that nature, and you won't grow. And then you're gonna have to start all over anyway. So you might as well just start from the beginning, do it correctly, and you're only gonna have to do it one time, okay? Please listen to me and hear what I have to say, because I've done this wrong in the beginning, and then I've also had clients that didn't listen to me and they did it themselves and they end up having to come back anyway. Now, do you want to start over? No. So now let's break this all down again one last time. Step one, do that deep credit analysis, see what's going on in your report, fix the negatives if you have any, to get your personal credit report back in tip-top shape. Step number two, structure your business entity the right way. Remove all those red flags. If you're in an entity that's high risk or anything like that, try to work within a gray area that's going to help you be lender friendly, okay? Step three, we're going to build that strategy. Use personal funding in a smart, strategic way, and then go after business funding after that. Again, I did use the personal funding with my bank reps so it can be comparable credit so they can get high amounts of fundings, as you can see, and that's when you're able to stack that capital in step three. And that's how my client and how you're going to access over $300,000 in total funding. All right. And now, if you do want $300,000 in total funding, but you don't want to do it yourself, what I want you to do right now is click the link below to schedule a free consultation with me so I can see where you are in the business journey, to see how I can help you fix your credit profile and help you get the capital that you need. It doesn't matter where you're starting, or even if you're at the scaling point, you can still get a strategic map to help you exactly of what you need so you can get the steps to take next. Again, what I want you to do is click the link below and I'll be waiting for your call. I want to thank you guys for stopping by. I really hope that this helps one of you guys. If you really try to utilize these steps the right way, you won't have any issues moving forward. And if you do try to utilize this, let me know in the comment section so I can help you if you have any questions, or if you just want to say, hey, I did it, it worked, it's working, you know, I appreciate it, because I appreciate every single comment that I get. Again, I want to thank you guys for stopping by, and until next time, ladies and gentlemen.